we get it beyond our spaces? How are we going to reach, especially the communities?
Because it's true also in the US and in many other places that public opinion is far more progressive than government policy. It's just that nobody acts on what public opinion actually is. And it's a key, I think, for us of being able to connect to people and to be able to demonstrate to them that their values and aspirations are actually reflected in the social movements. And to do that, and partly it's a communications challenge, and to not use language that people either don't understand or have been taught to be afraid of, whether it's, feminism or Zionism or, whatever the buzzwords are.
In some of our work, we're having to phrase things slightly differently within a slightly different argument to get the same ends. And it doesn't feel good, if I'm honest, doing it, but there are choices that we have to make along the way so we don't lose the ground. But then we fall into this problem of being isolated while still doing it.
What messages, can we be using to talk to people and to reach out beyond kind of the comfortable groups where, we know that people are going to understand this kind of language? Well, how do we actually, have our own kind of advertisements that are not like the National Guard, but that are talking about peaceful alternatives?
When designing the activities, we're always conscientious that we do street actions for the general public, that we do something on the high level that will get like the universities, and something geared toward the government. Like a fictive Facebook profile. I have Pipi, the peace activist, that is like a mascot for the campaign. Most exciting forms of activities that we've done creatively using the media is it's called a radio ballet. It's actually a street action that is choreographed via live radio. Last year we did a self-defense course. Really don't have a lot of money for the campaign. We really have very little money. We have to be very innovative and really creative and have good ideas.
The role of the media is very important because the media is now becoming the sole tool of information for society like ours in developing countries where the literacy rate in rural areas is still 27%.
There is an important role to be played by solidarity work and people who have local and grassroots connections being able to connect with people who are operating in different spheres. But then the question came up of what is the space that allows that kind of work to be coordinated.
The difficulty in our work is that when we address the issue of gender sensitivity and peace building, it remains largely a women's issue. Men see it as a women's issue, and that makes it very difficult to really create change. It's an obstacle.
Militarism has a gender face, and I think that masculinity's perspective might be something that can help. Because a lot of men are drawn into it.
It's even in our own discourse. We talk about women as victims of armed violence, but men are a large group of victims as well. So this is the way that we started really trying to engage men personally, letting them discover what it is, how they are losing out because of gender-based violence, because of the military. A large part of the training was about what is the stake of men supporting women's activism. There's this very famous quote from Margaret Mead. Basically what she says is that if women are liberated, men's liberation will follow.
So we thought of engaging the security sector. The result is they changed their human security plan, their security plan, from a traditional security concept to human security. They called me to a session, 10 members of civil society organizations, to show their new action plan to defend human rights. And they said, we want now to be not to be viewed as violators of human rights, but protectors of human rights. One elderly paramilitary group member stood up and said, so happy that you came over, because I think many of our members now would rethink if they would kill someone, for $500. And now in the AFD, they have what they call a zero tolerance for human rights violations. And I think that's a concrete result of the engagement of civil society.
The 16 Days campaign originated in 1991 at the first Women's Global Leadership Institute here at the Center for Women's Global Leadership. And there were 23 women from all different regions of the world, and they came together to talk about some of the commonalities of their experiences and the work that they've been doing to frame violence against women as a human rights issue.
The 16 Days of Activism, we know that the period, from November onwards to early December, we celebrate along with our Ministry of Gender and Development, but it's interesting to know that it all started here.
We're looking to gather the experiences of women in all the different regions and see what some of those commonalities are, the common threads, and build from that.
The 16 Days campaign website allows for some interaction. We invite people to visit the website and add information about their activities during the 16 Days campaign through a submission form. You can upload documents or pictures to go along with your scheduled actions. Over 3,400 organizations in approximately 164 countries have participated in the 16 Days campaign since 1991. The 16 Days of Activism campaign against gender violence is mostly grassroots. We understand that technology is a barrier to many grassroots organizations, but we are trying to get those stories up on our website so that you can map the 16 Days of Activism globally.
But since we have this tool that's 20-some years old, that's known all over the world, it seems like a very well-established tool to use to do this campaign.